Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Todd. This is Todd. For today's video, I am doing a dessert, and that is going to be some angel food cake. Now, I don't have no angel food cake pans or whatever they're called, bunt pans, whatever. So I'm just going to use a loaf pan or a round cake pan. Not quite sure. I think the last time I did it in a loaf pan. Not sure on that, but that is what I think I used. It has been about a year since I've made this last, so you're going to need 350 grams of sugar. That's 1 3/4 cups. This is a sugar that I put through my food processor. Well, not my food processor, but my blender, and it is really, really fine. I mean, it is like not powdered sugar fine, but it is way finer than what you can buy in the store, at least here in the States. In some other countries, you can get caster sugar quite regularly, but here, not really. It's a specialty thing that what I've found is really expensive. It's like $13 for 3 pounds. I found another just really expensive, and so this is just how I do it. It's quite fast and easy to do. All you do is put it, like me, I put it in my blender, and I just blended it on high. And I have a Ninja, which the blending pitcher locks and also the lid, so I can pick my blender up. Probably shouldn't do that, but and I just kind of tilted my blender side to side and kind of helped move it around inside, and it worked really well. You're going to need 135 grams of cake flour. That's 1 cup and 2 tablespoons. And as you probably can see from the top, it's cake flour. You're not going to want to use all-purpose flour at all. It just won't taste right. This has a different protein content and everything, and it just gives it that distinct angel food cake taste. If you use all-purpose flour, from what I've heard, it will taste like bread, pretty much. You're going to need 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I don't have out here right now. You're going to need 12 large egg whites, which I have right here. And what I did with that, I'm going to get the sugar out of the way, is I cracked them all in a different bowl, and then I put them through this fine mesh strainer to get all of the bad parts out that I would not want. And I'm just going to discard that in my sink. And what I'm left with is some nice clear egg whites. Well, pretty much clear. But that's what I do. You don't have to do that. And since I did lose some egg whites in there, I ended up doing 15 egg whites in total. So I did lose some in there, and I think I lost some when I separated the yolks. Now the yolks, I just put in a cup. I am going to probably blend this up or something and use it in other things. I could do a yellow cake with this, because a yellow cake calls for extra egg yolk. Could do some egg yolk omelets, which I heard are really good. I've personally never had them. Could do quiche, add extra yolks in quiche or whatever. There's many things you can use egg yolks for, and they're really underrated. And actually, that's my favorite part in fried eggs. So you're also going to need 1½ teaspoons of vanilla and 1½ teaspoons of cream of tartar. You are going to want the cream of tartar. It kind of helps just bring the meringue together, which that is what we are making with the eggs and part of the sugar. To get started, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 163 degrees Celsius. That's 325. You're going to want to, of course, blend your sugar until it's fine. For that super fine sugar that we made, you're going to want to put 200 grams of that away to use in the meringue. The other 50 grams, or 150 grams, I mean, you're going to want to put in, or keep in your blender, and that's 3/4 cup, and that's going to be mixed with the flour and salt. And you're going to want to pulse that in your blender for about 10 pulses. I'm not going to do that on camera. It's kind of loud. So I will go ahead and just get all that stuff done, and I will bring you back at my stand mixer for the next steps. Okay, so I am back, and I'm hoping my contraption I have here does not fall over or move or anything, because I do not feel like re-recording this. So, I got my stand mixer. I am going to go ahead and get my egg whites I got right here, and I am going to dump those in. And on a low speed, I am going to mix this until it becomes foamy, and that should take about a minute. I'm going to go ahead and just let this mix, and I will bring you right back. Okay, so this has been mixing for about a minute and a half, and it's foamy, and I realized after it got to this stage, after reading my recipe, I forgot to add my cream of tartar, but that's fine, it can be added at this stage, I think, with no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and just level this out the best I can. And add that in. And since that really wasn't level, it was a little on the heaping side, I'm going to go short on the half teaspoon. So that's in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in my makeshift caster sugar that I made. And I'm going to go ahead and switch my speed up to a medium-high and beat that for 5 to 6 minutes or until soft peaks form. I'll show you guys what soft peaks is when it gets there, and I will just bring you back when it gets there. Okay, so this ended up taking somewhere in the ballpark of 7 to 8 minutes, not the 5 to 6, and I was at a moderately fast pace. I think my stand mixer was at a 6. Around a 5 or a 6, but it is at the soft peak stage, and you can tell that when you lift your whisk up like that and it kind of just lays on top of itself. It doesn't just fall back down and go flat or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and put my attachment back on, and I'm going to go ahead and add in that 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I am going to whisk on about a 4, so maybe a little under a medium-high, for about another minute, just to bring it up a little past the soft peaks. And I'm trying to get somewhere into the stiff peaks, but not quite there. I'll show you what I'm talking about when it gets there. Okay, so I am moved back into my kitchen now, and this is to the point what I am looking for. So this is what I mean by in between stiff, or in between soft and stiff. So a stiff would be if I would stick this in, pull it out, it would stay. This is just a hair past soft. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm going to go ahead and just clean this off, and I'm going to rinse it off to make cleanup easier later. Okay, so I got that whisk all cleaned off. Now I'm going to go and grab that same fine mesh strainer that I had, and I'm going to make sure that it is dry. It should be dry. I had it sitting on top of my oven while it was warming up and everything. I also dried it off with a towel, but just did that as an extra precaution. So now I'm going to take that flour, sugar, and salt, and I am going to, well, you can't really see, my hand's in the way, but I'm going to put this in about 3 increments. And you're doing this to aerate and everything. Okay, just a little more. Alright, right about there should be fine for that first go. And you're going to need a rubber spatula. And you are going to want to fold this in. You're not going to want to mix it. You're going to want to fold it in. If you mix it in, you're going to deflate it. You do not want to deflate this, as the whole point of the angel food cake is that said meringue. Now I'm going to keep on getting down to the bottom like that, because I just found the pocket of flour. Just keep mixing this in 3 installments. And just keep folding. This is definitely the most time-consuming and tiresome part. If you're not used to using your shoulder to do stuff like this, or like just whisking in general, then your shoulder will most definitely get tired. So I'm just going to keep on doing this, and I will bring you back as I think you get the picture of what needs to be done. But I will tell you one thing, this work you are doing is going to be worth it, because I've only ever had store-bought angel food cake, and from a couple people at work, they say, well, it's not an angel food cake if it's not in that bundt style cake pan with the removable bottom for angel food. I'm like, well, it's still angel food regardless, and I guess it could just be called sponge cake, I guess. I don't know what it technically is. I think it is a sponge cake. But yeah, this is 10 times better. Not even that, 100 times better than anything you'll ever find in a store. It's just, everything homemade just tastes better. And I love cooking and baking. Obviously, I have a cooking channel, so I should. But yeah. Like right now, I probably should be in bed. It's right around my bedtime, but I decided I wanted an angel food cake for tomorrow. Literally at midnight. And decided, I should record a video for this. So here I am. Taking way too long to try and figure out a setup at my mixer. Okay, so I just want to bring you back right quick and show you something. This is kind of why you want to sift it too. Like all this right here is the sugar. If that just picked it up, it looked like it went out of focus. Like all that right there, sugar that did not get ground up right. So I'm just going to dump that out. And I'm going to grab some of my extra I have here. And I'm guessing that's about a tablespoon and a half. So I'm going to just take about that much right there. And sift that in. And that should be enough to compensate for that. And then again, like, I'm going to say about a quarter of that wasn't even ground right. Can't get it 100% perfect. The best way I would say to do that would be probably be a conical burr coffee mill. I mean, it's not meant for it, but it will work. But I'm going to go ahead and pause this once again and continue folding this, and I will then bring you back. Okay, so I got it mixed together and everything, and I think I'm going with a loaf pan. So, not going to grease it, not going to oil it. It will release by itself after it cools off, which I'm going to let it cool off overnight, because when I take it out of the oven, I'm going to bed. So, I'm going to... I don't remember if this rises or not. So I'm going to fill my cake pan, or loaf pan, about 3/4 of the way full. And if that's not full enough, I do have another one here, or I might even pull out one of my miniature loaf pans that I have. Let me grab one. This is my miniature loaf pan. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill this up about 3/4 of the way full. And I'm going to try and bring it so you can see. The whole thing is, I do not think the small cake pan, or why do I keep saying cake pan? Because this is technically a cake. I'm going to make the decision, and I'm going to just fill this all in here. I don't think it technically rises. I'm just going to smooth the top out just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to call that good on that one. And I'll just put anything remaining in this small one right here. And also another reason I do like to bring it just beyond the soft peak form or stage is because I like to account for me not mixing it right and it deflating a little bit. I'm going to take some of this out of here, move it over to here, just to kind of make that a full one. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that does not rise. I don't remember. And I did not put how much to put in it in my recipe. So I'm going to take this bowl and use it to scrape my spatula off and pour that in there like that. Now, traditionally, if I was doing a regular cake, I would pick it up and drop it. But I don't want to do that because that's going to pop bubbles inside. So I'm going to do this to level the top out. And same with this. And I'm not going to take my wash rag. I'm going to take a paper towel and just kind of clean the edge off a little bit. And it looks like my oven just turned off. So now's the perfect time to add it. I'm just gonna try and get the excess off the sides. I don't want that to burn prematurely and everything. So I'm gonna put this on the middle rack in my oven. And this is going to bake for 40 to 45 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap this up right here. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and make sure you smash that like button. If you enjoy the content I'm putting out, make sure to smash that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching and coming along with me on this journey of mine.